My name is Ina Sekat, and I will be talking about removing the mini-batching error in Bayesian inference using adaptative Langevin dynamics. So for this presentation, I will first talk about the gradient Langevin dynamics, which allows to reduce the computational time when sampling from a probability measure by using the mini-batching procedure, which induces bias in the posterior distribution. I will then record the adaptative Langevin dynamics, which allows to remove the bias due to mini-batching when the covariance of the gradient estimator is constant. For example, in the figure below, we considered Gaussian likelihoods and we sampled from the posterior distribution of the mean. We can see that when using SGLD with mini-batching, we get bias on the posterior distribution, whereas the adaptative Langevin dynamics allows to correct for the noise due to mini-batching. Note that in this case, the covariance matrix is indeed constant, which is not always the case, as we will see later. This is why we introduce an extended version of the adaptative Langevin dynamics, which address the non-constant covariance matrix case more precisely when the covariance can be decomposed in a finite basis of function. So first of all, we consider a dataset X of n data points, which are assumed to be independent and identically distributed with respect to a probability measure. We denote by P elementary, which is parameterized by a vector of parameters theta we aim to estimate. So in Bayesian inference approach, we are interested in sampling from the posterior distribution of this vector of parameter, which we denote by P, and which is proportional to the prior distribution on the vector of parameters and the likelihood distribution of the data. So one way to sample from a probability measure P is the Overdamped-Langevin dynamics, which is given by the following SGE. To do so, we can use the Euler-Maruyama scheme, which is given by the following discretization, where delta t is the time step and j centered reduced normal variable. So the main challenge that rises here is the computation of the gradient of the logarithm of P. So at each iteration, we need to compute this gradient, which contains a sum of n data elements, which can be prohibitive when we want to do simulation over long times. So one way to circumvent this problem is to use the stochastic gradient Langevin dynamics, which suggests to replace the gradient by its stochastic estimator at each time. So the idea is to choose randomly n point from our data to compute the gradient. The choice of the point can be done by with or without replacement. We will consider that this is done with replacement in the following. We can rewrite the stochastic estimator as the exact gradient plus a stochastic term, where sigma x is the covariance of the elementary probability of x, where expectations are taken over I, which is uniform from 1 to n. Z here is a centered reduced random variable. If n and n data are large enough, we can say that the central limit theorem holds, and then that Z is Gaussian, as we can see in the figure here, where we plot the histogram of Z for Gaussian case. However, if n is of order 1 and n data is moderately large, the Gaussian regime does not necessarily hold. However, for our analysis, we just need for Z to be centered and with finite variance, which is generally the case. So one way to understand the bias due to mini-batching in SGLD is to look more carefully at the error analysis of SGLD. So one can show that the SGLD is an approximation of order 1 of the Overdamped-Langevin dynamics. However, following the approach of Lee and al. In 2017, we can show that this dynamics tree is a better approximation, that SGLD is a better approximation for this dynamics, or in other words, it's an approximation of order 2. So as we can see, there is no reason for P to be invariant by this dynamics, which explain the bias due to mini-batching. So for now, we move to another way to sample from P, which is the Langevin dynamics, and which is given by a first part, which is a Hamiltonian dynamics, plus a fluctuation dissipation mechanism, which is added to the momenta P. Note that gamma here is a positive definite symmetric matrix. So if we follow the same approach as we did for the SGLG, we can show that the effective dynamic of the Langevin when we use mini batching is the following dynamic. So here the difference is that we get an additional term in front of the winner process, which depend on the size of the mini batch, the time step, and the covariance matrix. So gamma here was exactly what we needed for this dynamic to sample from P. This is what explains the bias when using the Langevin dynamics with mini batching. The bias here is of order n squared data over n delta t squared. So one way to remove the bias due to mini batching when sampling from a probability measure P is the adaptative Langevin dynamics. But before recalling it, we should emphasis the main assumption, which is that the covariance matrix is constant and does not depend on the value of the parameters. So we assume that sigma is constant. It can be unknown, but it is constant. And then the adaptative Langevin dynamics is given by the following dynamics. So here A is a constant because sigma is constant, but can be unknown matrix, and Xi is an additional variable, which is a matrix D times T. So here the idea is that Xi will adjust itself to compensate for the unknown fluctuation. So the most important information to remember here is that this dynamics allows to sample from P whatever the value of A is. So in this part, we will challenge the main assumption of the adaptative Langevin. So we consider a realistic case where the data is supposed to follow a mixture of Gaussian, where W is the weight, sigma 1, sigma 2 are the standard deviation, and mu1 and mu2 the centers of the Gaussian. So we assume that W and sigma 1, sigma 2 are given, and that we are sampling with the posterior distribution of mu1, mu2. So in this figure, we plot the covariance matrix of the stochastic estimate of the stochastic gradient, and we, with respect to mu1 and mu2. So we can clearly see that this covariance depends on the value of parameter. So if we use the adaptative Langevin dynamics in this case, we would get bias because the main assumption does not hold. So one way to handle the case when the covariance matrix is not constant is the extended adaptative Langevin dynamics. We start by the main assumption, that is that A can be decomposed in a finite basis of function, where AK are matrices D times T. So one way to get such expression, we can get such expression by truncation of an expansion of A on a complete basis. The extended adaptative Langevin dynamic is then given by the following SGE, where we get K minus 1 additional matrix equation to the adaptative Langevin dynamics. Using the extended adaptative Langevin dynamics allows us to sample from P whatever the value of A is, as long as we can decompose it in a finite basis of function. So finally, we show some numerical experiments. So we consider the case of a mixture of Gaussian likelihoods. So we run the ADL for different size of the mini batch. We can see that the bias increase as n decrease. This is due to the fact that in front of the winner of the covariance matrix, there is a term n data over n, so that the variation of the covariance matrix are more significant if n is small. For the extended adaptative Langevin dynamics, the bias decrease. However, we still get a little bias for the case n equal to 1. This is due to the fact that the covariance matrix is not fully approximated by the polynomial we used in this when we run the extended adaptative Langevin dynamics. So overall, the idea is that with mini batching, we can go from n data cost per iteration to n, which is a fraction of it. However, in techniques such as the SGLD, this results in bias. This bias can be removed by the adaptative Langevin dynamics as long as the covariance matrix is constant, which is not always the case. If we can approximate the covariance matrix by finite basis or decompose it in a finite basis of function, the extended adaptative Langevin dynamics allows us to remove the bias. The perspective is to work on high dimensional case where the Xi will be in high dimensional case where the dimension of Xi will be problematic. However, we think that these matrices are of low rank. Another perspective is to work on applications to model based on neural network. So thank you for listening to me, and if you have a question, I will answer them.